and welcome to episode 91 of Game Honey, your favorite sticky icky video game podcast on the internet. Yes, my name is Polar. I will be your host for this week. You can find me at Polar. You can find the show at Game Honey Game. Today, I am joined by erstwhile co-host Panda, Tayo
Hello.
GaB-Man.
Coming live at you from the promised land, the U.S. of goddamn A.
I thought we decided a while ago that Japan was, in fact, the promised land.
They're all promised land.
Okay. Moving right along, you're not special anymore because he's back. It's Adam.
Yay! It's me! In the better promised land of Japan. Because it
the
is
real promised land.
The real promised land.
Yeah. We have an intercontinental podcast going on again.
Yeah, check this out. We're across the seas. We're international.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, we it has been a while since we saw Adam. We tried to get you on in December, but you were doing a little bit of traveling.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, my holidays were pretty good. I spent, I think, 9 or 10 days in Osaka, actually. Osaka and Kyoto for the holidays. Caught up with a lot of good close friends there. Sorry, I don't think we got to hang out there.
we did a nice switch.
Not that close, my friend.
Because I moved to Shikoku, so the circumstances were not ideal.
All right. Don't feel so bad now.
Yeah, let's. No, I mean, starting the podcast off on an awkward note is always.
Oh yeah, awkwardness. Can we get some of those awkward silences? You can have some crickets later.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'll leave all of those in during the edit. Yeah, I went up to Pandas, and we played some Rocket League. We played some Super Hot VR. So we had a good time.
Nice.
It was a good time.
The new year.
It
was.
I was playing games, but I was playing board games of all things. Really good board game.
What do you play?
Have you heard of Kingdom Death Monster?
Oh yeah.
It is like the premier $400 game where like every piece is like a model kit. Spent a lot of time, like my fingertips were covered, just caked in glue and paper cuts from building those things before we played, and they're really good.
Yeah, they look gorgeous.
Yeah, man, good stuff.
A friend of mine owns it.
Familiar with it, Panda?
Yeah, I sure am. Sure am. Yeah, a friend of mine owns that board game, and it's intricate, to say the least.
It's also brutal. Calling it the Dark Souls of board games is not doing it justice.
The Dark Souls of board games.
I hate using that tagline, but it's bleak. It's like you are just like nameless people waking up in the darkness, very primitive people in this horror hellish landscape, and you have to fight these giant monsters and manage.
That sounds like my 1st of January.
Yeah, right. And take care of this settlement, but it's all very, very warped. Everything is just grotesque.
Yeah, you can kind of evolve, right?
Yeah, you can
or
evolve,
upgrade your society, and
so there's management. But then when it comes to combat, it is just you against this one giant creature, and these things will do horrible things to you, and your characters can come away with.
And you're sure you weren't in Shikoku with us?
Yeah, hey man.
Sounds like a day on Shikoku, yeah.
If you're hanging out with in-laws, then maybe it might be like that. The family meal, the Dark Souls of gatherings. Yeah.
The Dark Souls of gatherings. Now I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's talk some video games. Hey, we don't talk about Nintendo enough on this show.
We sure don't.
They did a Nintendo Direct Mini, as it were, and they announced a bunch of ports and some other stuff.
They sure did.
The big standout was, of course, the Dark Souls remaster.
Yeah.
It's the Dark Souls of Dark Souls.
Which is also coming to PS4 and Xbox One, and I believe PC?
I think it's coming to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to play this on the train and make literally zero progress. But having never played Dark Souls, yeah, I'm gonna try this version. This seems like the version to get for me.
Yeah, I'm happy with a version of that game that I can pause. Just put the Switch in sleep mode.
You mean Dark Souls?
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah, good luck with that. They're probably gonna have things kill you while you're in sleep mode.
yeah, I'll just keep playing. You're dead.
Yeah.
Now in Bloodborne, I don't think you could pause the game, which was really fucking annoying to me.
Is that only when you're online, or is it all the time?
I don't think it was. Sometimes you have someone at the door, and then you just lose a battle or don't get your package or something. So I just want to be able to pause my game. Thank you very much.
Life needs to be suspended while you're playing Dark Souls. That's how it works. You pause life.
Dark Souls pauses
That
you.
sounds like a good alternative.
Yep.
Yeah, but having a Switch and just being able to well, if you have a Switch, you know this already, but being able to turn it off and turn it on and be back in the game within a matter of 5 seconds, that is really a big benefit.
It's pretty nice.
And something, and one of the reasons that I could see myself actually starting playing and finishing this game, because I'm still, as I mentioned to Panda the other day, I really want to play Bloodborne this year, but I'm still working up the courage to actually start it.
Do it, man. It is fantastic.
It's gonna happen.
It's a
I made a promise,
game, but
and I intend to keep it.
it's also very frustrating.
Are you gonna, Adam? Did you play all of the Souls games?
I've played them. I haven't completed all of them.
Okay.
Demon, if we're including Demon Souls in this, I've never touched that. Dark Souls 1, I never completed. I got pretty far and I never finished it because at the time I didn't have it on consoles. I had it on PC and it was a pretty shoddy port.
Yeah. Are you gonna give it another shot on the Switch?
Oh, absolutely, yes. There's also another thing that's been announced is I think for Japan only right now they're doing a Dark Souls Collector's Edition. So
there's all three games in it, right? Plus soundtrack,
and you've got these really cool bookends, like Dark Souls bookends.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
That's also tempting.
The collector's edition, is that announced for which platforms is that?
I think that's PS4. If I'm not mistaken.
PC as well.
Okay. It's not on Switch in any case.
I wonder if it's well, not that we know of, but I mean I could see it happening because the Dark Souls 1 remaster is actually running on the Dark Souls 3 engine, if I'm not mistaken. So that would reasonably indicate that Dark Souls 3 could also come to the Switch, albeit stripped down.
I think if it sells well enough, I'm sure they'd be interested.
I think there's a good chance that it'll end up doing pretty well. And we have a bunch of other stuff from the Nintendo Direct, and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is one of them. Which I don't know. I don't think Panda you didn't play. I did, but I never finished it. Oh, you did?
Same. Yes.
But considering that it's on the Wii U, we are one of the few people who actually played it. So I think it's a good thing that a bunch of ports are
they're
coming
really
over
good,
to the
very
Switch
good
now.
games. The Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and the one before that, Returns.
Yes,
they're great. So yeah, bring them on.
The World Ends With You, a DS port. I don't know. I never played the original. I keep hearing very good things about it. So
yeah, I've always wanted to play it. The only way I could play it, they did a an iOS.
Didn't they have a mobile? Yeah.
Yeah, but that got left behind in the dust for a while, and then they promised to update it, and then they didn't. But this time, yeah, I'm looking forward to the Switch version, considering they've even kind of extended it out and made the story a little bit more expansive now. And
it's an interesting choice to be sure. Like it came out of left field.
Yeah, the cell shaded nature would lend itself pretty well to a high res upscaled port. So I could definitely see that working out. one of the titles on here that piqued my interest, but I'm still not sure where it's headed, is Mario Tennis, which apparently is made by Camelot, who also did the Game Boy. Was it the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Advance game? In any case, that game included a story mode as well, RPG elements, and apparently this game also includes a story mode.
Yeah, the Game Boy one, not the advanced one, but the Game Boy one had a story mode, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And this is the first one to have a story mode since that game. And normally, I would not be interested in sports games at all, but last year, which I tragically forgot to include on my best of 2017 lists, is Golf Story, which was a very fun little game that made golf of all things fun. So
would that have made your top 5?
I don't know if it would have made my top 5, but I definitely would have given it a shout out because it was a lovely little game.
Yeah, you really liked that game.
I really liked it. So having played that and having had fun with golf, which is something that I honestly never thought I would have, has made me a little bit more open to these kinds of sportsy games, especially with a story mode. So
you should check out Everybody's Golf. I'm actually enjoying that on PS4.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that too, but that's a little bit more of a straight up golf simulator.
It's no
right?
story, but I mean, if you get co-op and you're hanging out with friends in the lobby and you do a few rounds, it's actually pretty enjoyable. It's very, very light.
Okay. Maybe I should give that a try too then.
Yeah, but especially the I remember the Game Boy game with its story mode being really one of the standout things about that title. So I really hope that they get to include a more or less robust story mode in this game as well. That would be really sweet. What else do we have on here? Oh yeah, we have Donkey Kong coming to Mario and Rabbids, which I don't know seems like a good fit.
Are you going to pick it back up
DLC.
again?
I actually forgot. Is this paid DLC? I imagine that it is, right?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I might.
But you played it extensively.
I really, really liked it. But there's a bunch of DLC out right now, which I didn't get into yet. I just find it difficult to get back into a game after I finished it. I mean, I haven't played the Zelda DLC yet either.
Does either of you happen to know if the Donkey Kong DLC is just post-game content, or will, if you are halfway through the game, will you be able to recruit Donkey Kong in your party for the
think that's how it
story
works.
mode? That's too bad.
The story mode is really set in stone. So it would be very, very strange if Donkey Kong would all of a sudden pop up. So I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it's just gonna be extra maps.
So I'm just reading up. Donkey Kong will be a playable character, and he will star in his own story. They'll also include a new world, so it's more of a standalone.
Okay, yeah.
It could be cool. The game itself is really cool. The other day, actually, I read an article about the creators of XCOM and how they were actually inspired by Mario plus Rabbids, because, well, they sort of had their own thing going, but then Mario plus Rabbids sort of came out of nowhere, and they saw some very they saw some very creative solutions to some of the things they were struggling with, like movement. Apparently, was still a very rigid concept in those games, whereas in Mario plus Rabbids, you're sliding around, you're going through pipes, and you're really plotting your course every single turn. So they found it very good to have some more competition in that genre.
I find myself being pulled back into XCOM 2 recently because of the winter sale on Steam. I was like, oh, discount. So I bought XCOM 2 base, and then I bought War of the Chosen.
Yeah, I've been meaning to play XCOM, but it's one of those games that I say this about almost every game, but that I would really like to have on the Switch, because it would lend itself to the Switch really well, which is also something I say about every game.
I don't know how XCOM would fit in, because it's, well, yes, like the combat is simple. I don't know, you just have to see that whole kind of, like, the whole kind of board on your screen, the whole landscape, and having it on a smaller screen is, I don't know.
You're saying the Switch might be too tiny?
I don't know. It worked for Mario and Rabbids.
But that was built around a handheld portable. Like the tiles were very compact. There's a lot going on. Although saying that, they did port over XCOM to iOS of all things. So why not?
Really?
So, like iPads, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure Nintendo isn't really looking forward to lots of competition in the XCOM field
from their of their own
with
titles.
If their IP is connected to it. So I doubt that will happen, but yeah, I could definitely see how that could be nice to pick up on the go.
I don't think XCOM would be a big threat to Mario plus Rabbids. It's a Mario property on a Nintendo system, so I would only see them encouraging more third-party support on their system. I really don't think that this is a big threat to them.
It's a big shock that Dark Souls is coming to it, so who knows what the future holds.
Yeah.
That's true. They certainly are thriving on the third party.
Yeah, well, you say they're thriving, but I expected a little bit more, actually. But then again, this was a direct mini, so we could see some more stuff coming somewhere later in the year. There are rumblings that there's going to be another direct very soon, but yeah, there's a whole lot of people reaching right now.
Well, the other big thing
fun with it.
To come out of this direct is the Odyssey update.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a big thing to me. You want to search for some balloons?
Well, I was watching the direct with Gab, with my wife, who is a very big Luigi fan. So that video started, and it starts with just Luigi, and she started almost screaming in excitement,
crying
of the prospect of being able to play with Luigi, and then you could see her face just cloud over as it became clear that Luigi wasn't going to be playable.
Oh, he's actually not playable?
Which is too bad. It would seem like an easy thing to put in there, but and I know Luigi has a lot of fans.
He'll get his own game soon. It's probably being worked on.
I hope
now.
so.
Yeah,
but
I would like to see a Luigi's Mansion 2.
Do I have good news for you?
What did they do?
There's Luigi's Mansion 2.
All right, well,
on 3DS.
Something new for the Switch, right? So they'll get to him.
Then again, Nintendo is also, of course, the company that. Yeah, I hope some also left Metroid in the dust for many years.
But it's coming.
Even though that's
but
rather
Metroid
popular.
Is back. But
it's coming back.
They left it in the dust.
It took them long enough.
Yeah. But they didn't sacrifice Metroid to the Wii U, so that could be seen as a positive as well. Because
I suppose so.
I mean, if you releasing Metroid, they did give us a trilogy, I suppose, but releasing a new Metroid game and having it underperform on the Wii U, that sounds like another nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Having said that, I would have liked to see it, obviously, but oh well. That's that.
Oh well. Are you going to be uploading your balloon times to the internet and comparing it with all your friends on Switch?
I'm all Mario'd out. I got all the levels. I'm done. I'm done with that game.
I'm still playing through the base game. I honestly don't think I would probably pick up that DLC, just because this whole kind of I would like more story content rather than timed activities.
Yeah. But and saying on the other end, it's a nice thing for younger players.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're out there, and it's going to be fun, and I'm sure it's going to do really well. I have played a game that has a similar mode, so for me, it doesn't feel like it's anything new. If you played Gravity Rush,
get rid of Nintendo.
Gravity Rush 2, there is a mode where treasure chests get placed throughout the city, and you have to go and find them. When you do find them, you can take a selfie photo, and you can hint at where this treasure chest is for other players in the world, so they'll see these photographs appear on their map, and then they can go to them, and they do this kind of treasure quest thing, treasure hunt, and then they'll go and find what you were hinting at. And so it's like,
that's pretty cute.
it's kind of similar to the whole balloons thing, but you're hiding them yourself.
I used to do the same thing back in the day with GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64, but we were hiding proximity mines for each other.
Oh, nice. Yeah, who wants to find them?
Sticking a proximity mine on your friend's face.
It was about making your way through one side of the level to the other and not getting blown up, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Good times. What else do we have? New games. We are talking about new games. This is not a new game. Assassin's Creed Rogue is getting a re-release. I'm sure Panda's excited.
It's not big news or anything, but I'm excited because the thing is that game was released. It was really strange because, as you probably know, that game was released alongside Unity, and Unity was, of course, the next gen one. Mm-hmm. It was getting all the media attention and all the promotion.
But they had this engine lying around.
And then you had Rogue. Yeah, they had Rogue, and they had essentially their B team working on it. And apparently it was really good. But hardly anyone ever played it because it was released only on last-gen consoles at the same time that Unity was released for new-gen consoles. So it's a bit of a weird, like, why bother almost kind of story. But I'm glad that one of the better... I haven't played it myself because... I didn't have a last-gen console.
There you have it, right? Because I think
at my disposal at the time.
Ubisoft is betting on people like you who didn't play it at the time, but heard that it's a good game.
Yeah.
So this is probably a pretty low
don't bet
effort.
on me. I probably won't pick it.
You're not getting it?
Yes.
No. The reason being is the reason I haven't got into much of the recent Assassin's Creed games is. Panda knows this. It's just like I was burnt out after Black Flag, and thankfully Origins was so good and so different for me that I stuck with that. And I'm looking forward to all the games from that point onwards, rather than going back, because even though it might have been different from Unity, it might just still be a little bit too of the same from the previous games.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the Yakuza games.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think it's pretty similar to Black Flag.
Yeah, I like where Origins is going, and I hope they've learned to. I hope they've come up with a new thing for future games.
I was kind of surprised not to see this announced for the Switch, because it's basically a last gen port. I don't know, maybe they're using a new engine, which scales a little bit.
Well,
more.
it is Ubisoft. Wait, no, Ubisoft does have a good... Sorry, I'm mixing up Ubisoft and EA now. Ha ha, go figure.
I don't know what it is you're mixing up, but we'll run with it.
Yeah, I know that EA begrudgingly came back to Nintendo, but still hasn't really put anything out besides the shitty FIFA port.
Yeah, Ubisoft, you might remember, put out this little game called Mario plus Rabbids.
Yes, no, I completely acknowledge that I made a mistake in rushing to blabbering from the mouth hole, and I offer my sincerest apologies to all our listeners.
Why don't you blabber some more? Because the Overwatch League has started, and
yes,
you know more about this than I do.
Granted, I don't know a lot about it either, but I am here in America with my wife and two friends who know an awful lot about Overwatch, and they are hyped as fuck. And we watched a couple of games the day we arrived. I think that was the first or second day of Overwatch League. So Blizzard has built 2 arenas, I think, in America now. And one of them is here in Los Angeles. I'm currently in Los Angeles, and we're going to go and see a game there this week, so that'll be interesting. I'll definitely report back on how that was. It's they had the Overwatch World Cup earlier last year. And I think that wasn't as big as Blizzard had hoped it would be, but they seem to really want to get into esports fully now with just a league of their own. There are several teams now. I don't know the exact number, but Most of them are from the States. They say it's an international league, but it's essentially a bunch from the States. And then there's one from London, one from Korea, and one from Hong Kong, I think. So that's about as international as it gets.
It's still classed as international.
Yeah.
If that's where the good teams are. Then.
It's international, technically. It's also interesting because all the teams... It's very much like soccer or football, as we Europeans call it, in the sense that the team for example, the team from London seems to, from what I understand, only consist of Korean players. And the team from Florida, I think, consists exclusively of European players. So it's international in that sense.
That is like when you have a ping pong tournament and every competitor is still of Chinese descent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Overwatch League, and I thought that it was going to be a time thing, but I guess it's going to be like an ongoing thing instead of just a time thing, as with the World Cup. So I think Blizzard is hoping to rake in lots of extra dough with this. So we'll see how what the effect of this is on esports.
You're looking forward to your live viewing?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Are you able to comprehend what is going on?
But yeah, that's the thing. I was watching the other day, and I mean I've played a little bit of Overwatch, so I know like generally how everything, like how the match is progressing, very generally. But most of the time, I feel like
can we put it to like a Twitter poll to like suggest what you should do so we know where you are in the audience when the people are watching?
So you can live
see me live? Like the loudest, most obnoxious Vuvuzela or something like that.
Yeah, maybe I'll make it a Game Honey banner.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Just put on your Winnie the Pooh outfit. You know the one.
Oh, that.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. I don't know if I packed it or not.
That sounds so ominous. You know.
All you need is the red T-shirt.
It is just the red T-shirt.
Literally all you need.
Just a red T-shirt. Might get you arrested before you get in.
I know some people at Blizzard, so
maybe put on a bear nose, but just make sure that you're bottomless.
But yeah, it is live, and apparently, according to the news, the first day of viewing got extremely good ratings on Twitch. So yeah, it seems that they are onto something for now, at least. So we'll see if that carries on into the future with
smell
future
of
matches.
Money.
The sweet smell of money, indeed. So yeah, we'll I'll definitely let you know how it is to go there in person, and I might actually visit the Blizzard offices this week.
Don't sound too excited.
That's on.
Oh,
so
I might know people there for you to get in touch with. So I'll send you some names and just say hi for me.
I will do.
Some doors will open.
But yeah, I'll
good people there.
I'll definitely let you guys know what it's like in Blizzard World as an outsider looking in.
It's gonna be magical. It's gonna be like a wonderland.
Yeah, I hope so.
Now that we have all of the fun news out of the way, a report came out about Quantic Dreams, the studio behind Heavy Rain, and more recently Detroit Become Human. About
Beyond Two Souls
work
as well.
Yes. About the work environment apparently being toxic.
The way this all came about apparently is some former staff, as usual, kind of whistleblowed a little bit, and there was mention of a cache of images like found in the workplace, 600 altered images with some kind of gross stuff, some homophobic, sexist, that kind of stuff, based around just staff and directed towards staff. And a few of these publications picked up on this. A couple of French publications ran a few stories maybe showed a few of the less risky images.
I saw one of them of a construction worker with David Cage's head edited onto the body, and then he was holding a giant drill with a dildo attached to the end of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Cage apparently in this cache of data that came out, apparently he is referred to within the studio ironically as Papa, God, and Sun King for his autocratic approach to working, writes Eurogamer.
He's a bit of a Xerxes kind of character.
Yeah. He also says he also asks people to judge him by his work because he worked with Ellen Page, who is an advocate for LGBT rights.
Yeah, it's kind of along the lines of saying, "I'm not racist. I have black friends."
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
no,
that is exactly what a famous world leader recently claimed. So
the least racist person you've ever interviewed.
The least racist person ever, because I have some pictures with people of color. So yeah, that's not a very good excuse, period, but especially not very good right now. So
yeah, Detroit isn't that far away from being released. So
was it? I don't know what the release date is on that. Is it Q1?
Well,
that's a
I
good
think
question. Actually, I'm not sure.
It's all dependent on like how far this goes and how long this stays in the news.
Do you think they'll delay the game?
They won't delay the game, but it's gonna knock sales if it keeps going.
Yeah, it's slated for release in the first or second quarter of 2018. It doesn't have a solid release date.
But yeah, I do wonder, because this is kind of insider industry stuff, and I wonder how much this will actually impact sales. Like if it's a big controversy like EA's loot box stuff that gets like to televisions and stuff, and quote unquote regular people like non-gamers hear about it, but I don't see this hitting the news, the mainstream news anytime soon.
If more reports are going to come out, if more credible...
Yeah.
go ahead.
The way this keeps going and gets worse is if David Cage and whoever else is accused doesn't say anything else than no. Like if they just keep going and say, "Oh no, this is why. These are the reasons why." It's like, stop talking. So you're digging yourself deeper. Shh. So don't just PR is like the big thing when this stuff comes out. Damage control, get on it as soon as you can. Not that I'm defending it, because I don't know what's going on,
obviously.
but when these situations come about and like you hear some rumor or some kind of explosive information about a studio's practices or something like that may be true, maybe entirely false, maybe left to just internet hearsay, has exasperated the situation. PR, get on that. Do not say stuff by yourself. Let someone else say it. Say it very, very directly. No,
they've already done that though.
Yeah,
Quantic Dream already came out on the 15th of January, saying that they categorically deny everything. So I think it's just if we're gonna see more reports, then that might get the ball rolling.
But now,
I wonder at this point. Yeah, it's still. I mean, there's definitely some stuff out there, the image cache you refer to. And yeah, it's there's a whole bunch of unsavory stories, but I don't know if this is enough to really to break it open.
Yeah, it's you would definitely expect David Cage to be fired, but I don't know exactly what his role is within Quantic Dream, and he does seem to be quite high up.
He is the man
at this point.
So let's just say, in any other normal work environment, he would probably be fired. But I mean, there's still the
I don't know if that's true,
stakeholders,
by the
of
way.
course. So we'll see what happens, and if this does influence the bottom line, then I'm sure
And it's not just
action
David
will be
Cage
taken.
either. There's another
No.
senior employee called De Fondumer, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, it's some of the allegations are directed to him too.
Hmm.
So we'll see how that works out.
We'll see. We'll see what comes out in the following weeks.
Yes.
Yeah. So, did any of you play any video games?
Sure did.
Do you know who I am?
Say my name.
I don't stop it. I don't think.
Adam, considering that we didn't get your Game
No,
of the
you
Year
didn't.
list last year,
I have one.
why don't you run us through that?
Yeah. Few mainstream games, AAA titles. A few indies for sure.
Battlefront 2, Shadow of Mordor.
Battlefront. I'll tell you now, my top 5 does not include PUBG. Sorry for anybody who loves the game. I do not. Number 5, Battle Chasers Night War.
I
Do you
have
know
no
this?
idea what this is.
I have heard of it, but
Okay.
no, I can't say that
This is
do.
okay. This is fine. It's doing really well, so it's not like it's not knowing is gonna damage sales or anything like that. It's doing pretty well. It's Battle Chasers is originally based on a comic, a very short run comic by a very talented artist, Joe Madureira, I think his name is pronounced.
I
He's
know
done
him,
a lot, yeah, right. So he's done a lot of stuff for Street Fighter and a lot of different projects that he's attached himself to. And Battle Chasers was his somewhat anime inspired like dark fantasy action comics. It was very very adored by fans, but also kind of very polarizing because he didn't complete the story. I think he missed. He only went up to comic number 9, or 9 wasn't published, and they left the fans hanging for a few years, and pissed off a few people. However,
George R. Martin.
little bit
Going
channeling that guy, yeah, for sure. However, Joe Madureira's work has also been kind of heavily reliant on video games as well, and he finally started his own studio, I think, with his brother, and it was kickstarted very successfully, and they came up with Battle Chasers Night War, which is a kind of has all of the characters from the comics very faithfully recreated in a very kind of stylized, somewhat if you know the original Warcraft games, especially like Warcraft 3, it's stylized similar to that, but it's not an RTS. It is a exploration kind of turn-based battle game. So you have your overworld where you have, well, it's 3 stages. You have your overworld map where you're going from point to point on the map, and then in these points you'll have like your dungeon areas or just environments you can explore, and then you encounter enemies that are occupied in this map, and then it turns to a turn-based battle system. But it's a great, it's very fun. Lots of great combat mechanics. You're learning new things regularly throughout the game. The loot system is highly expansive. The characters are all charming because the stories, the characters are fleshed out, and the story is very engrossing. It has nice conversations and text-based boxes, and it's taken a lot of great things from a lot of Western and Japanese RPGs and mashed them together into a really, really satisfying package.
Nice.
So, Battle Chasers Night War. It's on Steam. It's on PS4 as well.
And it's coming to Switch.
I think it's coming to Switch. Yes, yeah, definitely looking forward to that as well. I may exclusively switch to Switch to play that game. Because I think it would definitely lend itself very well to it. Yeah, really love it. Really good game. Very pleasantly surprised by how well it turned out.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that when it reaches.
Sounds good.
When it comes to the Switch.
Number 4 is One of my favorite games of 2017. We're talking about
Going way back.
last year's games, not way back.
Top 5 every year.
Yeah, it should be from now on. This is a criminally underrated game of 2017. I don't know if I've mentioned it on previous episodes, but God, I love this game so much, and I want people to just buy this game right now. Just buy. It's called Echo.
The dolphin?
Echo. Have you heard of Echo?
The dolphin?
Not the dolphin. No. So it's made by I apologize for anybody who's listening who works for the company because I've got to know them. A Swedish studio, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
These might be Dutch actually. These are former IO software, like Hitman developers. Have started their own game studio called Ultra, and their first title is called Echo, which is a very futuristic stealth action game that it's on the level of, say, like Dune kind of future. So like thousands.
I think I might know it actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I may have sent.
You throw sounds around, right?
Not so much.
Nice
no.
try.
I may have sent GaB a code.
Okay. I don't know. I'll ask it.
Talk to her. But it basically you play a character called N, who's actually voiced by Rose Leslie, who is Ygritte from Game of Thrones. Or was Ygritte. And she plays a very kind of mysterious character. Like the story is a little bit too deep, but she goes in search of this this kind of magical technology that could revive someone very important to her on this mysterious planet that everybody's been searching for hundreds of thousands of years, maybe. And she discovers it. She finds this place, and it is this very strange, impossible kind of landscape. She finds herself in this, what's called the palace, which is this kind of infinitely expansive palace. Everything is shiny and made of marble and gold, and there's chairs and tables and fruit everywhere, and it looks beautiful. It's kind of like looking into an infinity mirror. It just keeps going. But it is a stealth game because as you go through the world, you find out that there are enemies that appear in the game, and they are copies of your character. They are direct clones. So they just appear out of this environment. And the mechanic of the game is that every action that you take, your enemies will adapt that action into themselves to combat you. So there are like lights off, lights on sequences throughout the game. So when the power goes down, you are safe to run around and do whatever you want without consequence. When the lights come back on, any action you took during that previous light cycle gets duplicated in these characters when they reawaken. So if you creep around, your enemies are going to be creeping around to get to you. If you jump over ledges, they can now traverse this way. They can now open doors if you can open doors. They can now shoot firearms if you shoot at them. So you are playing against yourself in this highly adaptive AI. And you just have to figure out where those blind spots are in their kind of their habits, or how to kind of manipulate this kind of intelligence to kind of give you an easier route through the levels. And it looks phenomenal. This thing won awards from Unreal, or I guess funding from Unreal to make this game, and it should be a flagship title for all of their games because it looks incredible. I don't know how well the sales did. It was just a lot of publications are talking about it, but I do occasionally check on Steam Spy and like, why isn't this number higher? Why aren't they getting more sales? So highly underrated, and I recommend it if you really enjoy stealth and like good deep sci-fi and some just stunning visuals. Has some great voice acting too.
Is it out only on Steam or is it on PS4?
It's on
as well?
PS4 as well. That came out as of mid-December, I think. The original game came out in September, and it's incredible.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Right. The studio is from Denmark, by the way.
Denmark. There we go.
All the same.
Sorry, Robin, if you're listening.
What's your number 3, Adam?
Number 3. This is from a Polish studio, and this is from Raycon Games. I think I pronounced that right. Ruiner.
Mm-hmm. Ah.
Yes, Ruiner. From former CD Projekt Red developers that went off and did their own thing. And if you like your cyberpunk, this is like awesome cyberpunk. If you like Hotline Miami crossed with cyberpunk in a very kind of bleak looking landscape of just street punks, cyborgs, security guards, robots.
Also Metal Gear.
Yeah,
that's very much in there. I bought it actually. I haven't played it yet.
Play the heck out of it. It is.
I played a little bit on last year's BitCon. Bit Summit. Yeah. And Gab and I played together, or she played the first part, the tutorial part, and then she was like, "You want to play?" And I had to play the boss without having played the tutorial, so I got my ass handed to me.
Yes. Kill boss. Kill boss.
But yeah, it looks beautiful.
It is. And super cool stuff going on with the game. They constantly update it with free updates, so you're getting a lot of cool stuff. They did a great kind of Christmas theme where your character is running around with a big giant candy cane and bludgeoning people with it in a Santa outfit.
Okay.
They've added weapons.
It's the spirit of the season.
Like New Game Plus kind of modes to it.
Is this all free?
Yeah. They just send out these updates. So I managed to meet a couple of devs in Korea of last year, and they're super awesome people. And they really have their heart in this, and it's doing well. It's really good. Highly recommended to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's released by Devolver, and I feel that it's very much a Devolver game.
Oh yeah.
From the little bit that I've seen and played. I heard though that the PC requirements are actually quite high. Do you have any problem with that?
Not so much, no. But that's because my PC is a bit of a beast.
Okay.
No, I think you can run it on some lower settings as well. I think it does fine on 1080p.
There's 1080p.
It's on PS4 as well.
The P stands for plebeians.
Yes.
Spoken like someone who doesn't have a 4K TV.
There's no reason why you can't get it on PS4 as well. Both run just as good.
Right. And you had some news?
Yeah, just a little bit of interesting news. This has, like the Ruiner game has possibly caught the attention of Luc Besson.
Yeah.
So
EuropaCorp, I saw that.
The film studio is like possibly trying to option it as a movie.
Haven't they bought the rights already?
I don't know. I haven't checked on the updates.
I had completely forgotten about this. Yeah,
but they're
now that.
All right, I'm totally down for this if they want to do a Ruiner movie because there needs to be some good hardcore cyberpunk. It's coming. There's more on its way with stuff like Altered Carbon on Netflix, blah blah blah. But
Bolton,
Ruiner, I look forward to that. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that, but I had heard the same thing. I think I heard that they had already bought the rights, but I could have, in my enthusiasm,
yes, I will
misheard that.
I will jab my developer contacts and say, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah,
please do let us know. All right, so that's 3 indie titles so far.
Yeah,
you had a couple of AAA titles on there, so I guess they're coming up.
That'd be them, yes. So
Step it up, indie developers.
Yeah,
only
yeah.
5-3.
Yeah.
Come on.
I did check, and yes, it did come out this year, but very early this year. Last year, rather.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Yay!
Okay.
Actually,
the Dutchies.
another Dutch game.
Another Dutch game? You mean the Denmark game that came out earlier?
That's what we call a joke, Ben.
Oh, I don't know.
So,
Jokes.
I've heard of it.
Horizon Zero Dawn, yes.
Yes.
Phenomenal game. Loved the crap out of it when it came out. Still playing it even now because I've been getting into the Frozen Wilds expansion. And what an expansion. It's not just a DLC, it adds a whole new area, weapons, enemy types, more storyline, some very, very cool snow mechanics. Just snow. This is like real snow in a game. You can walk through it, you can cut paths through it, you can do snow angels, real snow. But the game, Horizon Zero Dawn, is great. Open world, kind of futuristic robot dinosaur hunting goodness. Maybe you talked about it before.
We did.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yes.
But actually, I'm still making my way through it. Sorry to interject, but as I mentioned before, I'm playing it with a friend on his 4K TV on a PS4 Pro. We just got to the section, or the first time that you that the world really opens up, and during the nighttime, just the way everything looks, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
It's
They didn't
my
just
first
tack
PlayStation,
on.
I wasn't that impressed, but oh my god, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. But it's like they didn't just tack on that photo mode for shits and giggles.
No.
It's there because they know how beautiful their own game is, and they want everybody to share that and discover new ways of looking at the game. And
it's pretty insane.
I've filled my PlayStation hard drive up with a lot of screenshots. So great open world RPG. The voice acting is incredible. I'm a huge fan of Ashley Birch. She knocks it out of the park as Aloy. Oh yes, the fact that it's from Guerrilla Games. I was never really big fan of Killzone. I now take it all back. You are an incredible studio. I have all the best thoughts for them.
I think I know.
Yeah.
I think I know what your
My number one, drum roll, is Nier Automata. Yay! That was the one you were thinking about, right?
Yep.
Okay, just checking.
So, no Zelda or Mario on this list.
Well, now that I think, it's like, does Zelda have a spot on this list? If it was a top 6, then maybe. And then, but that's not saying it would be at position number 6. It might shuffle names on the list. But as standout titles for me, just by sheer surprise, and just what they did, these 5 titles were standouts for me. And yes, Horizon Zero Dawn did beat Zelda, considering they came out around the same time and are the similar kind of open world adventure games. I just couldn't stop playing Horizon. While Zelda, I did a few things, went away, came back to it, kept doing that. Horizon had me hooked by day one, and I platinumed it.
Seems like
completely,
we are polar opposites on that point.
Yeah, that's how games work, man. It's never everybody loves the
That's
same
how games
thing.
work.
Nier, yes, Nier, number one all the time, every year. Oh man, I have so much to say about Nier. It's just, I've been a big fan of Yoko Taro games for ages, ever since like Drakengard 1, Dragoon in Japan.
Of course.
I love it because like the story is the one thing that always wins me over whenever Yoko Taro is attached to projects. He is, for me, like the king of like, you think you know where the story is going.
I was actually curious, having played all of the Drakengard games and having played the first Nier, did did this game still catch you off guard?
Well, like I said, I've come to expect certain things from Yoko Taro games, and when they did happen, I'm like, damn. And I'm happy they did. I wouldn't say they caught me off. No, they still did, I guess. There were still some surprising moments, just like pleasant discoveries, and then horrors later on. You're just like, oh my god, what just happened? And yeah, there was some moments that I wasn't expecting to play out in a certain way in Nier Automata. Again, no spoilers. They were just like, wow, yeah. Now I remember why I love this guy and these games. And on top of that, the score is phenomenal. The characters, while they may start off somewhat bland, I think that's almost a trademark of Yoko Taro's writing. Is the characters are very, very, they're nothing special until you start peeling those layers away bit by bit, and then you go, oh, wow.
It's very intentional.
And then like that next layer, you realize it's not just another layer beneath, it's like a pit. It just drops down, and you get pulled into places that you didn't expect to go. So, yeah, Nier Automata, like the music, the character designs, the voice acting. I'm not going to say anything, but I know the localizers, and they did a phenomenal job in translating as well. So the writing is really solid. If you're using subtitles, or if you're playing it in English, the mash of genres, the scope of the game. It's a good 50 odd hours of action adventure RPG. Multiple endings. I think there's like 26 different endings, with like 5 or 6 being like the core endings, the other ones being like silly little things you can do that just kind of add flavor to the game.
I mean, all of the different endings, you have one pretty basic route through the game, and then you have a bunch of offshoots. But if Panda and if any other people are listening, I hope Panda's listening. It's not something that you should get discouraged over, because
and this is advice I gave you. I think
to the end. Yep,
this is like, hey, keep going. Got to get past that hurdle. And when
we've come full circle.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in this game at all, but having heard such raving reviews from mainly the two of you, I have decided that I'll probably have to get it.
Yeah, we've converted him.
And try it out.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, and there's some interesting DLC as well.
Really?
Yeah, it's bizarre. There's an arena battle mode DLC that you can get where you're fighting like waves of enemies, which is cool in itself. You get some nice costumes and outfits for your characters. But what's interesting is that you get to the end of the DLC boss fights that you unlock. You are actually fighting Square Enix CEOs and producers. They're like they float down from the sky. It's completely complete likeness of the characters in their suits, and you fight them. And I think that's hilarious.
Fight the power.
That's pretty funny.
I
think Yosuke Saito is one of the bosses.
The original Seaman.
Yeah, that's my number one. Numero uno.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, I was taking some notes. You got some good indies on there. So
yeah.
List overall from what we had.
Yeah.
I think you had Horizon Zero Dawn on there, right?
I didn't.
Polar? Oh, then it was just Gab that had it, I think.
Yeah, but to be fair, I'm only I don't know what did I do. I took out some rebel camps. They're not rebels, they're cultists. That's where I'm at now. So still pretty early days.
Whatever makes you sleep at night. Anyway, it's interesting to hear like a bit of a different take on last year's games from more of the indie indie angle.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your
Thank you
your
very
top
Yeah, I
five.
mean, if people
Thank
might
you very much,
notice
yes.
that like all my top 5 are very story heavy, so that might tell you where I'm coming
Yeah.
from with my choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I could definitely see Zelda not making that top 5.
Polar, did you have anything game wise to add to this episode?
I do. I actually I played games this week. Go figure. I played a 1-2 Switch for the first time.
Okay.
Did you milk the cow vigorously?
Yeah, it was a bit
I did.
out of left field.
Much to my dismay, I couldn't quite figure out the ideal way to milk the cow. So I'll have to do some.
You got to put the controller in your
research.
mouth, I think.
you actually gotta press 2 buttons, so
Yeah,
I don't know how that's
going
gonna
for
work.
your teeth and your tongue.
You gotta train your tongue muscles, if you know what I mean. But it's actually it's a good time. But yeah, we're repeating the same mantra. But this game should have been part of the Switch package, and then it would have been great. As a standalone title for at $60. It is not, but it's a good time. They have some pretty clever games in there, so yeah, me and my friends definitely had a good time with that. What else did I?
Did you buy it, or
No.
a friend's?
No, a friend of mine brought it over.
Okay.
Yeah. So I also played some more Horizon, which I'm really starting to get into. The combat is really interesting. Just thinking of different strategies to take down the different dinosaurs is really cool. The game obviously looks incredible. Yeah, it's a very good time. So I'm looking forward to playing more of that. I also got further into The Evil Within 2,
Nice.
which I'm really liking quite a bit. I think I'm in chapter 7 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot more than The Evil Within 1 still. I think the open world, it's not really an open world. It's more like I guess it's an open world, but it's small and it's dense. It works really well. It really contributes to the atmosphere of the game and just the whole world building that's going on in that silly old universe. Yeah, I'm really quite taken with it. It's really good. What else? Yeah, Xenoblade 2 is still an ongoing project. It's fine. I like it. It's really good. Very rough around the edges in parts. I'm in a snow world right now. Spoilers, there's snow.
I'm there too.
Which I think just it doesn't look good from a graphical point of view. Whereas I think all the other Xenoblade titles, no matter where you are in the world, they all look pretty amazing. All look very creative. But this, yeah, sometimes this game just looks pretty bland. It does feel rushed in places, but despite all of that, the story is very enjoyable. The characters are very enjoyable, and the battle system is really solid.
Hey, Polar.
So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Have you got Cosmos yet?
No.
I have.
I've never played any Xenogears, so I have no affinity.
Neither have I. Well, I tried to play one of them on PlayStation 2, I think. And I put the game in, and it was like 90% cutscenes, and I wasn't expecting that. It is more like a movie you play, and I didn't realize at the time. So I remember Cosmos from that, and while I was in Osaka for Christmas holidays, I pissed off all my friends by getting Cosmos.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like the animation for summoning a new blade is overly long. It takes forever. And most of the time,
There's
like
a
9
skip
out of 10
button.
times, you will
There's
just
a skip
get
button.
True, but when you activate the core, you have it flash up a couple of times, and considering that 9 out of 10 times you'll just get a common blade.
Yeah, I just do it automatically
rather
now.
Just
tap,
skip
tap, tap.
all of it.
But But I do enjoy the ones when you find the rare ones, because it's like, hey,
Oh yeah,
this
definitely.
is me.
Yeah.
It's my introduction.
It's a nice little game. Panda, did you play anything this week?
Yes. Well, I played. I finished Resident Evil 4 on professional, which was a lot of fun to go back
You're
through.
now a professional at Resident Evil.
I'm now a professional Resident Evil 4 player, so that was a lot of fun. And I played through Stories Untold.
Oh yeah, what do you think of that?
Which I won't go into spoilers
No,
because
just
it's
your-
something
just
that
your-
has
just
to be
your opinions of
experienced.
Do you love it?
Yeah,
I love that.
I really
Oh,
loved
good.
it. Yeah,
All right.
I really
Yeah.
loved it. It was really fucked up towards the end, but I really loved it. So definitely, if you haven't played it, go and experience that game because it's worth throwing your money at a wonderfully crafted experience such as that.
I think it's also
Go do it.
It's BAFTA winning as well.
Is
I think it won like sound,
very well deserved,
or like definitely writing. It's won some awards for writing, and that's all that is. It's a very strong story. Very surprising.
It's really great.
Loved it to bits.
And then there was another game that I played that I was a bit late to the party to as well, but that I fell head over heels in love with, which is Darkest Dungeon. Yep. I haven't played an awful lot of it yet, but the little bits that I played, I've absolutely loved, even when I've sucked at it, because it's quite a intense game. It does not hesitate to just kill you off mercilessly. And I really love it.
I'm in pain.
The art style is amazing, and the characters really start to feel like characters when they just really start getting all sorts of weird issues and whatnot. It's super atmospheric. I really love it, and it's coming out on Switch this week.
23rd. I see
18th.
18th. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the European store.
I'll be getting that.
Yes. Yeah.
As soon as it comes out on Switch.
This should probably be my third version. I think I have on PlayStation 4 as well. I had it on PC to begin with. I had it early access, and then I started playing it anew when it came out fully on PC. I had my party going for such a long time, some of the originals, and then my current, or like my past save, I've started again. But my previous save was, because it auto-saves at every turn, every action, I've reached the point where the next move by the enemies is just going to kill like 3 of my characters outright. So I was like, no, I can't go back to that. It's just too hard. So, I know that.
Is that permadeath?
Yeah, I kind of underestimated the game. I played on easy, and I got my ass handed to me. It's permadeath, and yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough, but it's amazing.
Okay.
And I've completely fallen in love with the art style.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to playing more.
I actually sent off for I sent off for a diorama set from the game.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Like the little cardboard cutout dioramas of Darkest Dungeon. I've never used it, but it's on my shelf. I have that little collector's item, I guess.
Make him fight other cardboard things
in the Darkest Dungeon.
You make it fight the Super Mario cereal.
Good, yes.
Yeah, for example.
Or the opponent. Adam, do you have anything else you've been playing to round us off?
Yeah, I recently picked up a title that I've been waiting for, another indie title I've been waiting for a while, called Rhyme 9000. And I'm sure most people wouldn't know about this game because it's very small, very indie. And it is a kind of a vertical space shooter. A very low res space shooter, so everything's quite blocky. But the music's really pumping. The gameplay is just absolutely crazy. doesn't do anything particularly different so far, other than that it's this weird psychedelic, possibly seizure-inducing visual style to it. Like everything, every explosion, every bullet that hits an enemy just glitches out the screen. And it's incredible to play and just watch.
Rhyme 2000?
Rhyme, so it's
9000.
RYM 9000.
Okay, 9000.
Yeah. I think I think it's a Taiwanese developer. Again, apologize, can't remember.
They're actually from Denmark too.
Maybe. But if you like your vertical space shooters, this is definitely up there.
My favorite genre.
Yeah, I can't say that is a genre that I've played a lot of, but if you're so excited about it,
it's very stylized. So if you want something
Okay.
that looks unique and is super cheap on Steam, it's like $6 equivalent. It's nothing.
By the way, speaking of super cheap games on Steam, did any of you play Doki Doki Panic? Oh,
No.
Doki Doki Literature Club,
I haven't.
Excuse me.
I have it.
Yeah,
I have it on my
I knew
desktop
what
right
you meant.
now. I've actually been watching the Game Grumps play it. So
Okay.
I
don't know anything about it yet. So
living vicariously through them playing the game.
Yeah.
And what a ride!
I haven't played it. I know that Gab has played it on, and she, I think, liked it, but thought that it took too long to get going.
Yeah.
Okay.
But other things that I've heard is that it's go in without any expectations, and it's a great experience,
Yeah.
is what I've heard.
Yeah. Something we should try and talk about.
Yeah. There's a couple of more games that that I've been playing, and then I'll be done.
Okay.
Almost there. Next one is called.
Bear with me.
Again, a lot of indie titles. The other one is called Rumu. RUMU.
Okay.
Again, it's a smaller title. I don't know its origins, like the developer side of things, but it is a kind of a point-and-click adventure game where you play this semi-sentient vacuum cleaner, like a Roomba, and you're in this futuristic home that is operated or is controlled by this kind of like this very, very kind of like soothing voiced GLaDOS kind of presence. Not like GLaDOS, but like this. It's kind of like a kind of Alexa kind of voice in the apartment talking to the Roomba, and you are just this little robot that is motivated by love, which is very sweet.
This sounds a little bit like Chibi Robo.
I don't know how to explain it. But it's kind of along the lines of, imagine like the kind of the walking simulator Gone Home. But played out by the perspective of a Roomba. And you'll get, it sounds bizarre, but you'll get close to what it's like. But there's some very interesting twists and turns in the storyline narrative that make this more than just this fluffy little game about this robot who's powered by love. It's so like the robot talks in very simple sentences. It's like, oh, I love cleaning, or I love learning new things. These kind of sentences. But even through those very simple sentences, there's some very smart writing in like the tone this robot can come up with just by loving things.
Sounds pretty adorable.
But yes, there are some more kind of sinister goings on, or more kind of intriguing plot points to the story that I don't want to branch too far into. And the last one, Rumu, yes.
Okay.
Rumu.
The last one I've been playing recently isn't really a game, and I don't know how I got into it or why I keep doing it to myself. I've dipped my foot into VR chat. Yeah, I don't know why. I didn't do it because
I
of
saw
the memes.
some videos of VR chat.
You're right. I saw some of the videos.
And
I'm like, what the hell is this? This looks like a nightmare. I've been in there. I do occasionally go in there, and it's actually fun when you're not being accosted by these horrendously fucking annoying Knuckles characters.
Did you have a Vive?
I have a Rift.
Or
yeah, you can also play it
right.
Without VR, so you can move around. You're just not going to get the same kind of interactivity as you would with the headset and the controllers. But yes, horrendous Knuckles memes everywhere, and they're more of a blight on VR chat now than anything else.
Yeah,
I get some of it is fun and funny and entertaining when you see like some of the unique character design, like models that people have come up with, like custom Knuckles models. I've seen giant Knuckles characters made out of smaller Knuckles characters. I've seen Knuckles characters driving tanks. I don't know.
Dude, it's a meme.
Yeah.
Why any?
Yeah.
Why anything?
But
no
there's
real rhyme or reason to it.
It's getting too much now. So whenever I see them, I'm automatically pointing them with my controller and muting any character that has a Knuckles avatar. While it's fun to go in there, and there are games you can play. There are like fully recreated theme parks and like roller coasters and all these nausea-inducing rides you can go on that would mess you up in VR. There are actual nightclubs you can go into. So this is the closest thing you'll ever get to like
to a social life,
like Johnny Mnemonic kind of like immersive kind of cyberspace right now.
Yeah, I'm interested in it for that reason, for what it'll bring next, for the innovation that and the future of VR. So I do hope. I don't think that they'll bring this to PlayStation VR anytime soon.
There's other titles that
would be nice if they
that are much more polished.
Yeah. I hope that they'll start doing something similar.
Yeah, the thing with VR chat is it's really centered around the modding community as well, where characters are like kind of they're probably illegally ripping some of the characters from video games, but then there's stuff from the asset store and like some of their own original models and characters. And I've met some people that have done some crazy things with just what they can do with like the touch or the Vive controllers while they're being these characters in these VR spaces. And it's fun. It's fun when it's not annoying.
Considering that we're talking about Sonic fanfiction, I have to ask.
Oh, don't tell me.
Does any of it get sexual?
No, thank God. It's not places like that. I haven't found those rooms. I hope those rooms don't exist. So far,
they do.
Pretty sure those rooms exist, Adam.
Yeah, I heard a story here in LA the other day of someone's friend just visiting random rooms, and there was one room that they came in, and it was just a darkened bedroom, and they apparently the people all had haptic feedback suits on.
Yeah.
Or like, and you could just see a couple of dudes just jacking. And from what I understood from the story was that the ladies stood still but had a sound effect coming from them. Something along the lines of zzz.
So this is for any new people who want to get into VR chat, right? This is like number one rule. Start with mute on for everybody first.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't want to encounter, you're not going to encounter this, like, that's like almost like dark VR chat web stuff. That's like dark web. But if that's the case and you might find this weird darkened bedroom.
I was going to say, if you want to have a good time.
Mute everything and then find another place.
Put on your Big the Cat suit.
Yeah.
And go out.
Yeah, I didn't know what models they were wearing at the time, but one can only hope that it was all Sonic related.
It was all Big the Cat.
Probably, yes.
And one Knuckles just getting torn to pieces.
It sounds like Sonic the Hedgehog collection right there.
I think that's a good point to end the show on.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
There's
thank
the
you very much for
silences.
listening.
Yeah, there's our episode title right there.
Yeah.
Sonic fan fiction.
Thank you, Adam, for joining us and for
No problem. Always a pleasure.
livening up the discussion with that final nugget. You can find the show at GameHoneyGame on Twitter. You can send an email to game.honey with an S at the end at gmail.com. You can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, on Player FM, or any other Android or Apple service that you might be using. You can also listen to the show on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you're doing that right now.
You may just be doing that. Keep on doing you.
Yeah.
Panda.
Well, not like that, but...
Yes.
Thank you very much. And where can the people find you?
Thank you. They can find me on Twitter at Tayo Inc.
Where you will be tweeting your pictures from the Promised Land.
From one of the Promised Lands, yes. Before I return to the other Promised
lesser-known
Land.
Promised Land.
Yes, either one of them. So come and join.
And from the other Promised Land, Adam, where can the people find you?
Yeah, they can find me at Ads in Japan. That's ADSIN Japan.
Great.
On Twitter.
Thank you both. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you next
Thank
week.
you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.
No time.